Good afternoon. Now, you might be wondering, who am I? My name is Robert Shrivers. I normally teach English 2, 3 and professional English, and have done so for the last 10 years at this college. But due to COVID-19 and quarantine, I have not been involved in English 2 and 3. So this is the first time you see me and the first time I'm speaking to you. Okay, today's lesson for English 3 is talking about present perfect continuous and how it differs from present perfect. Now, present perfect is a little bit difficult, but let's go a little step at a time. So, how do we make present perfect continuous? It's like a combination of present perfect and present continuous. You learned those two. Okay, here we go. If you have a positive sentence, you say subject, I, you, he or she, using the verb have or has, then use the past participle of be, which is been, and then the verb plus ing. Example, I have been learning something, have been learning. It's a negative sentence. The only difference is that after have or has, you put the word not, I have not been learning, whatever. A question, if you want to ask a question, you would have to say, have you or has he been learning English? So the verb comes in front of the subject and then the past participle and the verb ing. That's present perfect continuous. Let's go back to present perfect, which you have seen before, but it never hurts to just remind you again. On a positive sentence, you say subject, have or has, plus past participle. Now, all those things you've learned about gone and drunk and seen, all the irregular verbs, the past participle. Negative sentence, same as the one we learned, subject plus have or has, include not and then past participle. Question sentence, have you, has he, and subject, and past participle. Okay? So, the difference between these two is that in the present perfect there is no been. Well, in the present continuous you have the been plus the ing. The ing is the continuous bit. The perfect bit is the been. Okay? So, where have you been? That will be present perfect. Okay. So that's all. Now how or when do we use present perfect continuous versus present perfect? I mean, a while ago you learned the difference between present perfect and past. Now we're learning this difference. Okay, how do we use it? Here we go. Something, some event, whatever it might be, that started in the past, last week, last month, last year, but it's still happening in the present, in the now. So something you started doing in September, 3 months ago, but you are still doing that now. So it's what we call an ongoing, still spending time on doing that event. It's ongoing. It's not finished yet. It might finish next week, next month, next year. It doesn't matter. So something started in the past, last week, last month, but it's still happening now. The present perfect, as you know, something that started in the past, say 3 months ago, and finished in the past, say 2 months ago. So, and when it happened is not important. That could have been happening 20 years ago. That's not the point. It's some indefinite time. So that is what we call a finished event. You could say, I have learned English. Well, maybe 10 years ago you learned some English. That's okay. You're not learning now, but that's what you did in the past. Okay? So remember, have or has, past participle of the verb to be, which is been, verb plus ing. Present perfect, have or has, and then past participle. Okay? Now we will stop for a moment and we'll write on the board some examples. Okay? Let's do that now. Okay, so as we said, we looked at the forms. How do we make this form? We looked at when do we use this form. Let's just show some examples to help you understand how we use these two tenses in English. Okay. Before I do that, often what we do, we use these three positions. Since, for, and in. Together with the present perfect continuous. For example, let's make a good example. We could say, what have you, this is a question, What have you been learning. That's perfectly good. Huh? You have the verb have, the subject, past participle of be. So what have you been learning? Yeah. So indicating you started that in a while, but you are still continuing to learn. You could add on to that if you want to. What have you been learning? You could say since September. Yeah. You can give a time if you want to. Yeah, in September I started learning this English, and I still. Or what have you been learning for 3 months? You want to give out some sort of length of time you have been learning. Or what have you been learning in the autumn? We're in autumn. It's just about winter at the moment. What have you been learning in a specific time of the year? All the same sentence. What have you been learning since September? I mean, this as a whole is enough. What have you been learning? That's fine. But you can, if you want to, include since September, since when, how long, for 3 months, at what particular time in the autumn. That's an example. So, what have you been doing? What have you been eating? Yeah, every time the same. That's how it works, how we can make an example. In here, yeah, you could say, what have you learned? Yeah? Again, some time ago you started learning something, but you now have finished learning it. So what have you learned? Yeah? Your answer could be, I have learned many lessons. Yeah, maybe there were 10 lessons, and over a period of time you did 1 a week or 2 a week. So over a period of time you have finished. So you're no longer learning. You remember that, but you have stopped learning. So that's why we use the present perfect. You did that a while ago. Or say, you could say something, I have written a book. Yeah. Again, sometime in the past, when it's not important, you wrote a book, and now the book is maybe published and it's finished, but you're no longer writing it. So it's a finished event. That's how you use present perfect. And here, yeah, if you want to say here, that's another example here. Let me just clean this for a moment. One more example to compare the difference between the two. You could say, I have been writing a book. Now, what's the difference between these two sentences? This sentence indicates that some time ago in the past you started writing a book and you haven't finished it. You are still writing some more chapters, some more stories about it. So what have you been doing? I've been writing a book, and I hope to finish it maybe next month. Here you say, yeah, I started, but I have completed writing that book. Okay, that's the difference between been writing versus have written. Okay, understand? Now, one thing, homework. It's always good to do some homework, keep you thinking. We want to ask you, what movie have you seen lately? Now, you might have been on YouTube or on your cable TV or even on your cell phone. Yeah? Probably not in the cinema because the cinema is closed. Write about the story of the movie, the characters, who's acting, in about 12 to 15 sentences, and try to incorporate some present perfect continuous or present perfect sentence. So use 12. That will take you quite a while. Yeah? 12 to 14 is quite a bit. Now you're English 3 now, so we're expecting a little bit more. Okay? So please do your best, and hopefully we'll see you soon, if not till next year, February. Okay? Take care, and bye-bye.